Well, thank you, Johnny Red, for such a fine introduction on this beautiful sunrise of a day, babies. Oh, we're waking up to a little rainy drizzly out here. We think we moved to Africa or Asia or someplace, man. All of a sudden, we're in a tropical swamp, man, out here in the middle of the desert. Now, it ain't quite that spongy out there, but it is a little cool and rainy. Ooh, which tends to make you a little brainy, but then you just close your eyes and settle into your heart, and all that anxious thought just kind of evaporates into the vapor of the coffee you're sipping on from your official Mary Jane Gateway to Paradise mug or your official Coyote Club mug. Yeah, babies, get on over to thecoyoteclub.com and get it on today. You can get all kinds of beautiful little mugs. You just got to search around a little bit. There's the mug shop, eh? You got to get over there and see what's there too, babies. And we're just getting started, you know. We'll have a coffee club going on pretty quick, man. Grandpa's hand-selected, perfecto, kind of organic, fair-traded, your mother loves you kind of coffee each and every month or something like that. Or maybe I'm thinking of a rescue pack, you know, where, you know, you just get like a bag of coffee and a precious little mug to drink it in, and maybe a little handheld coffee grinder, and you know, the basic implements you need to create yourself a righteous cup of coffee in an emergency situation, you know, all the little appliances, and then we'll put it all in one of those little pouches that our brother David over in Oklahoma makes, and we'll sell you one hell of a kit, babies. I tell you, man, camping out with the coyotes and drinking the coffee of the month or the day. Yeah, the coffee of the day, because it'll get you underway, just like we do here each and every day. We're at only on the Coyote Medicine Show. We're at the Hazy Radio Network, you know, the rockin'est network around, baby. Since you found us over on this side of town, babies, how about your side now? You hanging around? Are you jumping up and down? You rocking your little heart out this morning? You feeling the movie underway? You feeling your part in the grand old play? You doing some really good acting up on this kind of day? Oh yeah, your heart's coming into play, man. The reality, the manifestation of the end and the beginning of the sunrise. How about that? And then the credits, man, produced by, directed by, etc. And guess what? Who's at the center of it all? You are. You the star, baby. S-T-A-R. You betcha. What that means is you as a personal being, a little human, colorful little human being, have been created of the energy of the stars, of the golden light of love that radiates from your little star, the star that you are, and that grand wave of love where all the little twinkly stars hang out together and just experience the divine forever and ever, just wave after wave after wave of ever-increasing love, man. You know, I mean, do we have a capacity? That's what we're here to find out. By expanding away from love, we accelerated ourselves into it so damn strongly that we're going beyond the limit now. There is no limit. There's no limitation on this love whatsoever. Inside of many human beings, there's a panic going on right now, a great fear arising. We'll deal with that right now in this kangaroo sort of way. How about that? Hey, we know how to play, baby. We are the Coyote Vibe Tribe, man. We are getting it together right here in our heart. The same way the first move you learn when you're a baby kangaroo. Now, for those of you who don't know what a kangaroo is a hoppity animal that lives out in the desert of Australia and kicks the shit out of big trucks going by. So they have to have great big guards on. No, I'm kidding, but it's an awful thing when they hop in front of them. Oh, it's terrible. But outside of that, they have a pretty damn good life, you know, and they just hop around and play, and they're just like Coyote Medicine, only with a lot of power behind it, you know. And so, and total innocence, total innocence, you know. So this old kangaroo's like the pure heart, hopping around out there in that desert climate, enjoying the color, enjoying the life, enjoying the vibe. Eating with the crickets and just having a great time, and singing with them too, man, as we stretch out into the evening hours and stuff. That first move you learn as a little baby hoppity when you jump out of that pouch for the first time, man, is to jump right back in it. That's the move you got to learn, man, because mama's always there with the safety of that pouch. And there are predators around, you know, some pretty awful ones too, and you got to learn it from the ground up, man. But in your instinctual behavior, there is an awareness of the dangers. Already. Just built right into it. You're ready. The minute your feet hit the ground, you're ready to go. You know, you're like a full-grown baby, a full-grown adult baby. You got all the instincts that your mama and your papa has. So you know how to hippity-hoppity around. You know who to kick the shit out of and who to run away from, etc. Already. You know how to live. You're perfectly equipped. You're ready. So don't worry if you hop back in the pouch a time or two, sensing danger all around you, because that's the world we have lived in. It has been a hazardous situation. Vampires and sharks and snakes and lizards and all kinds of nasty things that want to eat you from the inside out, etc. Here, you know. So it can be a little frightening to a newborn, you know, when you first hop out of that kangaroo pouch, man. The warmth of the mother love sets you free. She just opens and closes by your will, not by hers. She lets you have your head because she knows you're ready, that you're the baby of life, but you're fully equipped. Because she was a baby once too, and we all go back to that first baby mother that rose up from the ocean waters and created the life that we live in, all forms of it too. All extended from one singular, what I call a mother being, the mother person, the beginning of all creation. She come forward, one of the first acts of her creation, besides the kangaroo. I came down the list of ways, but the kangaroo's petting her heart. She loves them. You know, she's sweet on them. I'm talking about the divine mother that personified herself in this way and became what we would see as a human being. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, we got a long distance telephone call here. I better be receptive of this one. Hang on just a moment while I try to attempt to answer this thing. Good morning. Is this a G-Roo moment or is this a G-Roo moment? What's going on there, baby?
Hey, Grandpa, this is G-Roo. You gotta press your button. We don't have any sound out here.
Well, son of a bitch, we do now. I tell you, thank you for calling me and letting me know. I'm such a retard, you know. I get high. And I forget what the hell I'm doing here because I'm so high on all this love and energy that would do. I need an engineer to push the buttons for me so I can just do what I do, you know. It's when I had a radio show way back in Denver in 97, 98. God, it was great. Conversations with Coyote. You call me up and I'd tell you your life in a heartbeat and help you heal from it too. You know, it's crazy shit, man. I had this engineer that was real intuitive and he was in tune with me. I mean, he just came to me randomly from the corporate empire there, you know. It was just part of their structure, but oh my God, what a cool guy. I mean, he had his own program out on the weekends, you know. Yeah, intuitive. Well, it's going out now. Okay, well then maybe I got to is the auto DJ playing or something?
I don't know, you got another one, but I just refreshed it and nothing's happening.
All right.
It's been like 10 minutes. I thought I would call you.
Yeah, well yeah, okay, yeah, it should be going out. Okay, good.
It's a 10-second delay, whatever.
Yeah,
okay, I'm
yeah.
going to tune in now. I just wanted to let you know.
Hey, thank you for the G-Roo moment. G-Roo saved our ass this morning. Sorry about that, babies. I didn't mean to mess with your rock this morning. Let's just keep it on the roll. Love you too, darling. Thanks so much. You bet. Big hug, big hug. That was a G-Roo moment right here on the Coyote Medicine Show. 10 minutes of meditative silence, followed by an awakening phone call from the great Northlands. Boy, is that heavily metaphorical, symbolic of the blossoming of the true life of love, or is it what? I tell you, it's perfect medicine here, even when we make mistakes like that, you know. Because I get so in the vibe, you know, with you, that I don't always pay attention to the little material things. I click them once and assume they're going to work. I don't always look at my needles and dials and shit, because I'm absorbed in the reality I'm sharing with you guys, you know. And that's where I am. I'm in the zone. So I really do. I need an engineer like that dude I had down there in Denver, who was intuitive, who could push the buttons for me and play just the right music at just the right moment, pick up just the right call, etc. I mean, all I had to do was think it, and he'd do it. You know, or really, he'd just pick up on the flow of whatever it was we were dealing with in that moment in the verbal way, you know. And when the station break come, he'd know just exactly what bumper music to play, and it was awesome, man. He brought in some really dynamic new music, too, and really opened my eyes far more expansively in the music world. Because for that, man, you know, I'm a rocker, and that's what I love, is the old 60s and 70s shit. But boy, then I started to realize there was still some life. The music hadn't died entirely. There was was still some life out there. And he was showing me some of it. You know, groups like Enigma and stuff like that, which were kind of new back in those days, you know. That was like, one of them, I don't remember if it was Enya or Enigma. I think it was Enya. What used to be the Thompson Twins, you know, that rock band, and they went to, they had some kind of mystical experience, and probably because they rode in my taxi one time in Salt Lake City, but that's another story. But they had some kind of mystical experience in the 80s sometime, and they wound up bagging the rock and roll act and going down to New Zealand with all their millions of dollars, and they bought themselves this seaside studio with these huge glass windows looking out over the ocean and all the weather that's happening and so forth, you know, in this kind of semi-tropical paradise, you know, of New Zealand, that area, that warm coastal area, wherever the hell that is. And they began to create spiritual music, you know. They went the other way with it, in a sense, but yet they were going the same way. They just did it more honestly this way, you know, according to their heart. You know, we all have our act. We all have our gig. So these guys found it and began to express it. And they came out, I can't find this song these days. Maybe somebody can look it up and send it to me. But they did a Coyote song that my engineer had there. And it was just off the charts. Ultimately became the theme song of the show, replacing Tommy James and Shondells with Crystal Blue Persuasion, which I still love to play here, by the way. But yeah, that's an awesome piece of work, and I'd really like to have that here because it just adds to the vibe tremendously. But he was, you know, so intuitive that he would, like, you know, in his off-duty hours, he would go and research music for me and shit like that. He was just an awesome dude, man. And like I said, totally intuitive. And, you know, he just part of the package that came with the studios that I broadcast out of, you know, like the furniture and shit. But he was a rockin' dude, man. Had his own show, played jazz on the weekends, shit like that. And, you know, real music aficionado, you know, one of those that really are into it. But very, very intuitive as far as this spiritual flow. They couldn't have given me a better partner for the radio show back in those days. And now we got to manifest something like that these days. So I don't make these little mistakes anymore. I don't have to push the button somebody else does. When I cough, they'll see it coming and click it off. You know, shit like that. I just like, you know. So we got to graduate a level or two. So that's why you hear me pumping up the Coyote Club over there, because it's time to expand this effort a little bit. And we got to increase our funding in order to do it. So that's why we're doing it, you know. But babies, I will never, you know, ask you to pay for anything, ever. Because, you know, I offer my heart to you freely, and I always have and I always will, you know. It shocked the shit out of people when in 1996, the summer of 96, I all of a sudden showed up out of nowhere on Pearl Street Mall in Boulder, Colorado, which is a well-known gathering center. There's a lot of street buskers there, massage therapists, and you know, all kinds of different acts there, you know. There was even a guy that worked beside me that was a clown that was just awesome, just out of this world. There was a guy that used to ride his unicycle way up high, like 22 feet in the air, and juggle flaming torches while he did so. Impressive sight at night, I'll tell you. So anyway, I just landed there, you know, out of nowhere. I came from paradise, man. The Spirit transplanted me from paradise over to Boulder, which was, you know, another form of it, but wow, commercially expressed quite sincerely, I tell you. And so here I am in the midst of all this commercial reality, and it's Syntho and American Express as it can get. Beamers everywhere, kids with cell phones doing this thing called texting each other. I had no clue. I was Rip Van Winkle, man. I come out of nowhere. And I sat down there with two little chairs in front of Boulder Cafe at 13th and Pearl, there in Boulder, Colorado, and I put up a little sign that says, Grandpa Peter Coyote, you know, what else? Anyway, basically, you know, I just said, Spirit Assistant, that's what it was, yeah. No fees, no charge, donations accepted if you feel like it, you know. Something like that, a friendly little handwritten sign on a piece of that white chalkboardy looking stuff. Only it ain't chalkboard, you write on it with those colorful ink pens. So it was a little eye-catching, you know. I just set that by my chairs, and I just sit there and smoke cigarettes and smile at people. And every now and then somebody come by and share a little toke with me, and you know, but so I was in and out, but people would come to me and sit down in the other chair, and you know, I would take their hands in mine and just begin to share the genuine. I would become one with that person, way beyond making love. I would become one with that person. Their energy of their life would be living in me, and we would together travel the mystical side of their life and heal what was ailing them in that moment. It was beautiful work, powerful beyond belief. People, person after person after person came and witnessed it, and participated in it. But these highly commercial spirit practitioners there in Boulder were shocked to their bones. They couldn't believe that somebody as gifted as I was, and it's just an opening thing. I mean, I'm just one human being. I'm just showing us what we're capable of, and that's all I'm really doing there. And uniting the family of the heart, of course. Bringing consciousness to the human presence. That's why Spirit dropped me down in the middle of this commercial reality, man, to help the others see and move beyond it. Move beyond the aspects of the commercial thing and remember that they're in a heart business. And in a heart business, you have gifts and abilities to share, and that's what you do. You share them. You don't charge $50 or $250 an hour to give people personal readings and shit like that. You don't string people along and keep them coming back for more so you can keep the revenue at a certain level. You just can't even approach it in that business-like sort of way. Because if you do, you take the heart energy right out of it and you put the commercial aspect in place, and it taints your work. I mean, you can't turn off your gifts. Well, I guess you could, but you don't. But it taints your work, and so a lot of what comes through you is corrupted by that energy of, oh, I need to make sure this person comes back for more, etc., etc., however that thought expresses itself. So there was a lot of that going on around me in Boulder, Colorado. A lot of really famous people of the caliber of Gene Dixon and so forth that had some really big practices built up. Were making, millions of dollars a year off a spirit thing, man. Millions. And a lot of them in the few $1,000 range, but everybody and their dog had a practice in that town, and it was all 150 and up, Some of them would have weekend seminars at the Star House, and shit'd be $3,000-$4,000 to go hang out at the Star House for what? Just insanity, man. So here I am. I'm living on the streets. I don't have a fixed place to stay. I did have a car at the time in my little golden temple of love, my golden chariot. It was beautiful. Little 79 Subaru, kind of worn out. But oh my God, I love that thing. That was my temple, man. I had that for about a year and a half. And then I was completely on my feet for like 4 years and just living on the street at the behest of the universe and not charging money for anything. And I never made enough money to pay rent there, ever. Or to buy me another car when that one went away. Somebody had to gift me with one later, but it took a few years for that to happen. But I lived a magical and a charmed life. I lived like a king. People were buying me $100 lunches, I drank hot sake with my sushi, etc., etc. I mean, I was living high, babies. I was partying every night or any night I wanted to. I mean, you can read a little bit about some of that shit, The Tip of the Iceberg, in The Atomic Bum by Coyote Bear, available on Amazon, but the best way to get it's over at thecoyoteclub.com. Coyotes with a K, clubs with a K. That's, got a little of that story in there, but it was, wow, 5 of the most riotous years I ever lived. Some of the most expansive love I'd witnessed to date. And boy, I'd been around a lot of expansive people in a lot of expansive places. I'd been very blessed in my life to have a lot of righteous encounters with other folks in a lot of righteous places. And a lot of righteous energies of the earth, too. A lot of reconnection. Boy, I had been so primed and readied. I could look then at that moment back on the entire life I'd lived, as confused and crazy as it was like perfect in every right. No matter what regrets I might have had or anything at the time, I really didn't have any, because I couldn't hold it that way. I had to bless it, because it brought me, every moment I lived was like a teaching. I was learning about myself, about life, the flux and flow, etc., etc. I was coming back to myself, my presence, little by little, ever since I was a tiny baby and got knocked out of it, And it was a long process, because I was really violated as a child and had much trauma to deal with. I was one of their designated ones. So there was a certain energy, it's a background story, and not everybody knows what's going on in that background place, but it happens everywhere, children. That's why you want to read The Atomic Bomb, because you'll more understand what's happening now as some of these darker things are revealed as we move into this age of truth, the opening of the divine heart in everyone. Well, some of the ugliness is coming up to be expelled and exposed. You know, when it's in the daylight, baby, it just evaporates, just like the Wicked Witch when Dorothy dumped the water on her. You know, it's gone. It's a whole new aspect of being after that, you know, and everybody is freed when the Wicked Witch is dead, just like the flying monkeys and the green guards at the great palace of the Wicked Witch, man. You know, it all comes together when we let the sunlight shine on it, see. So that book was just a kind of a preparation for exposures like that. So when you see this kind of stuff, you know, happening in the world around you, you won't be shocked out of your soul. You'll understand what the heck has been happening here, and you'll be able to move on from it in a very loving way, see. So I expose my heart completely in that work of art, and totally so. Yet it's still, like I say, just the tip of the iceberg. Because even though it reveals these other levels at which life is truthfully played, and the reasons why children might get violated in some instances and so forth, and how souls are passed from generation to generation, or let's call them energies, because they're really more like parasitic things. But anyway, how that can inhabit, you know, lifetime after lifetime in different human presences and basically make them into the same kind of person that it is every lifetime. Is how darkness has passed itself along. When it was in full command 120 million years ago, it realized it could not hold it, that it didn't have that ability. It could not control everybody's life. You know, it just couldn't do it. It tried, you know, but it just couldn't do it. So then, as the Dark Empire crumbled and fell apart in that time, well, shit. Out of that came subterfuge. And it's been that way ever since. And that's how the darkness operates, subterfuge. Because it is a land of illusion. Therefore, deception is easy to practice. But see, they're not the only ones that played the deception. Because if it's illusion, then all players are playing deception, including ourselves, deceiving ourselves in certain ways all the time. So awakening up is just awakening from our own self-deception. See, we get so self-absorbed here. And that is the self-deception, that we're the separate person that has to figure out every aspect of their life and organize it and instrument it, put it into practice, in other words, etc., etc. That we are the one responsible for us, one person sitting here, you know, and we got to do it all. You know, and that is the most isolated place of being there can ever be. That's living hell. You know, in the midst of paradise, that's living hell. See how a mindset can so influence the creation around you? And how it's programmed into us by the flow of the generations? It just settles into us. It's our inheritance each lifetime. You know, it's the energy that waits here on earth as our soul goes and refreshes itself with the spirit heart of reality, and then comes back to the nightmare for a while. And when it does, that energy's always there waiting for you. See, so it kind of, in a way, everyone goes through that, and we're all working out the same energies at the same time together, though each of us in our individuated sort of way, our personal sort of way, because all of us have a certain aspect of it to play, as well as the full thing, too. See, so all we really are doing today is letting it glow, letting it flow. By what? Untwisting, the opening in the heart, and just letting it be, just feeling this energy, being in this field of love, that is such an influence to the reality around you. And little by little, we dawn. It's called the sunrise inside. Little by little, we dawn on our true position in creation and begin to more actively live that creation. So you can feel it now. You can feel it resonating around you. That's the beginning of the reconnection with life. That's the little kangaroo hopping out of the pouch for the second or third time. And there's no fear. They've seen past it already. They know their instincts are clear, and now they're beginning to feel and absorb the reality around them, so they can move in fluid motion with all of that reality and never experience conflict, but nothing but hippity hopping around and chasing rainbows, man, because that's what we do here, you know. We're creative son of a guns, us little kangaroos. And once we get over the need for being in mama's pouch all the time, hiding out for fear of what might happen to us, and realize we have the instincts that dissuade all this danger right there in our beautiful little heart, even though it may have been hidden away from us during our long time of bear-like hibernation and dreaming this nightmarish dream that seemed like we were living in it all the time. But the bear's awake now. The bear stepped out into the golden sunlight and sees the kangaroo down in the valley far away. And their hearts join in the sky above them. And there's another sun, a golden glowing heart that just seems to be in everyone. And that sun joins with the second sun, which joins with the third one inside of the earth. And the energy of light radiates throughout all life. Your living presence. You are the sun. A star, for real. Formed as humanity. Formed as a singular conscious presence in creation. A baby love from which creation arises now. Created by that creation around it. The very universe created us. And made us be what we are today. Awakening. It's like a new birth. It's like we are, sliding right out of the old birth canal, man, into a whole new world. But it's more comparable to the bear coming out of the cave after a long, long hibernation and a really bad winter going on around him, as he sat in there and dreamed that nightmare dream. But now he's out there in the sunlight. His bristles are filled with sunlight. They merge, they're one. It's a whole new world that we emerged into. This old hibernating bear coming back to life. And as he and the kangaroo commune in that golden heart of the sun and become one within all of that sunlight of creation. The energy of the ocean of love surrounding us all and forming us as we be. Kangaroo, bear, eagle, coyote. All of it, don't you see? Coming back from the heart to its true reality. By what? Living in that heart. It's really quite simple. And in a way, that's the mother love's place of incubation. In a way, that's where we've been a lot. Kind of hiding in the darkness, but it was warm, soft, and fuzzy, no matter how dark it got, And that's the warm, soft, fuzzy thing that got you through that living nightmare in the bear cave, because the kangaroo and the bear in that moment, they realize they are one, and their children too. That all of this world is created of the same essence, and we're living in it. Because the sunlight just absorbed itself back into it. We no longer see it as separate from us. That burning ball in the sky ain't so burning, really. It's the glow of love. Right now, as we've seen it in the past, it truthfully is a gateway between the realms. What seems to be the divided universes. The place we flow through when our soul presence exits stage left and goes back to, the dressing room and has a martini or two and a couple of tokes and gets ready for the next grand performance, because it's going to be really a doozy, because this is the last one. This is the last act of that long, long play, that long, long nightmarish dream our little bear friend dreamed us into being, you see. It's all about bringing the bear back to life. Without him having to go out there and actually be it and do it and create all that mayhem, he could dream it and live it safely and get through the experience of it without harm to anyone, because it's a dream. It has its own energy, so he had to go in a cave and hide in the darkness in order to do this. And ignore the sunlight, know it wasn't there, feel it separate from itself, and just dissolve into the darkness of the dream. The dreaming darkness, which of course creates light, is created of light. It all is together. There is no polarity. That's the inequity, that's the deception, the illusion. The reality, no push-pull. Just the steady, consistent energy of life, the loving life, carrying us upon its beautiful back and packing us along through the worst moments we ever saw as well as the best ones. It's always there embracing us, always there with our hearts united, helping us on through. There's a billion beings out there right now helping you, personally, at least, and probably more than that, because the universe is vast, and creation watches its babies intently. We're like the Truman Show and then some, way beyond that. It's each life is loved into the presence of being by the creation around it, and therefore the creation experiences with it the life that it's living. It's pure and simple. Again, see that golden glowing child lying in the cradle. And all that golden glow creating the scenery, the people, the activity around itself. And then you understand the innocent activity of loving creation of your presence in it. And just like the mama kangaroo, we bring the baby out of the pouch now and turn it loose and set it free so it can become, yes, that part of the divine harmony that it is. You know, we're taking our real place now in the presence of heart. We're beginning to experience what love truthfully is. It scares the shit out of some folks, and rightfully so. But babies, they'll get over it rather quickly. Just stay loving inside of yourself and see what happens, you know. Or as much as you can. If you waver in and out, jump back in the pouch, something, no big deal, you know. That's what it's there for. Remember that. You're safe. But you might sense the danger, and you might have to jump back in the pouch to get over that fear. It's okay. It's no big deal. We're all learning and growing together, you know. And the bear, you got to remember how much he's shining out there now. And, you know, man, he's already been in the stream and washed all that old nastiness away. You know, the purity of love now radiates in the presence of his person. And he's feeling the unity with the entirety of the mountainous nature around him, as well as the life in the valley, you know. Serengeti and then some, even though it's in Australia, but where is it? It's all over the earth. Bears live everywhere. The kangaroos only live there, right? No, they can be anywhere they want to be. They've just chosen to hide out down there because it was safer for them for a while. Maybe you'll see one hopping around your backyard over there in Colorado Springs this morning. Who knows? Or down there in Auckland, you know, or Christchurch, New Zealand. Probably you'll see them hopping around down there. I'll bet you do. These guys always live in tomorrow anyway. They're so far ahead of us. Those down unders are over us, man, in the time sense, because they lived the day previous, and they hear this broadcast the following morning, you know. So even though this is Untwisting Tuesday here in the Rocky Mountain High on this side of the planet, over down where they are, it's Wednesday morning already, and they're just waking up. Craziness, baby. You know, but this also demonstrates in a very real and visible way the deceptive nature of the reality. How can you divide time into little sections and you know, make it all so damn confusing and shit when we all just flow together in this moment of now creation? And there is no time. Who the hell cares? Just live your life in the flow of love, and you work in perfect synchronicity with everybody. And you don't need a job. You don't need to be a jerk. You don't need to be, you know, a barista. You don't have to have, you know, be the king of the bank or nothing, man. You just got to be yourself. Be true. Heartfelt. Living from that heart, you become creation. And all these old conceptions of authority and torture and terror and forced conformity and shit like that goes out the window, man. Because group thought exists in the heartfelt way. And in that is the unity that brings us together each and every day. In this coyote sort of way, on the Coyote Medicine Show, only on the Hazy Radio. It's your host, Grandpa Coyote, helping you wake up this morning, man. Rub those sandy sleepers out of your eyes and get the fucking, get it going on, man. Get it happening, you know. Get it up and running, man. Fire up that old diesel and let's hear them big old exhaust pipes roar after about a 10-minute warm-up, please. Respect the machinery, too. It respects you. Gets you through, doesn't it? Grudgingly so sometimes, but it does, you know. It's an extension of our creative self. You know, and in a way we created the mechanical world and the technological world that goes with it, just to remind us of how creative we really are. So as we wake up from the sleep and dream, we can really experience creation. The machines are just there to help us along, just like the animals and the birds and the trees and the bees and everything else, man. You know, walk outside today. If you're in the midst of the goddamn city, it's polluted as hell. Walk outside today. Go walking down the sidewalk and experience life. You'll be amazed what happens and how different it is. Even though you live in hell, you live in paradise, baby. See, we open gateways each and every day here, babies, with a good old Mary J. and a whole bunch of others, don't you see? The saints, the ancestors, the angels of love, all assemble here to help us create and regenerate this reality. It's Coyote, don't you see, through and through. And it's for me, and it's for you, and it's for all these other mother lovers too, babies. Watch out, world, here we come, man. The expansion of love has greatly begun. Woo-hoo. Yeah, babies, you're in trouble now. What a wonderful